Hello everyone and welcome back to Constreams TV. We are done week 13, and something we're going to touch on today is whether or not participation feels like it's down, but just in Mythic Plus. I think the rest of the game is kind of still doing good for casuals. Maybe, I don't know, let's talk about that here in a minute. But first, let's just jump into a quick recap of our week 13. What are some of the things we did and accomplished? I focused heavily this week on the monk and heavily on doing plus 12 or higher keys on top of we had our raid. So first, quickly touching on raid, we are still on Silken Court. We did not down the boss. We're going to be extending into next week. However, we have seen the fight in its entirety, all three phases. We've gotten to the final dance, so we understand what's happening there. Our best pull is 21%, so I'm really hoping in the week to come, we will be able to down the boss. So I'm hoping going into next week, we can down Silken Court and move on to Queen Anserac and focus on getting CE, because really, what else is there to do right now outside of raid and maybe a little bit of Mythic Plus? Let's talk about Mythic Plus. My focus was 12 to 13 keys when I was in the group finder, and surprisingly there was maybe 10 keys tops. And if I look back on previous seasons, a 22 to 23, 24 key and find 20, 30, 40 groups, there's always people running keys, so it's really surprising how it's changed now. And I think mainly because of the massive shift in the design of Mythic Plus, how tanks play, how healers play. I think that has really caused interest to just dwindle, and it shows in the weekly chart that we get from one of the Redditors that shows the trend going down significantly for this season. We're down to 822,000 Mythic Plus runs, which is a very low number considering this is a new expansion, and Dragonflight Season 1 at this point was still really popping off, so it's very concerning with how things are going for the War Within. But I am still hopeful that there is going to be announcements for Season 2, that they're going to change a few things. It's great to hear that the most recent crest changes they've implemented will move into Season 2. That is a very important thing. I think that is critical, especially for alts. Having taken my monk from 0 crests all the way up to max before they released the cap was actually dreadful. I did so many keys to the point of burnout, because in a 2-week period I did over almost 70 or 80 keys at 8 or higher. So it really at some point it gets exhausting, right? So it's really nice to know they've changed that, and that philosophy is going to continue moving forward, where the crests stay at a higher count depending on the key level you're doing. And of course, not to mention, we are going into the patch 1107 is released. We have the Siren Isles, we have some new content, we have a new ring we get to farm out. So I'm looking forward to jumping in and getting all of those things ready and seeing how the power shifts when we go into raid. I haven't done a lot of research. I'm kind of waiting for things to level out. Nobody really knows until we start playing with it, so I'm looking forward to see how the ring plays out in a few weeks from now. Hopefully it's nothing like the Amulet, because that was an epic disaster from a scaling perspective. Numbers too high, numbers too low, and even became mandatory going to the next season in Dragonflight because certain classes it was better still than anything in the next season. So we'll see how this ring plays out and what lessons Blizzard had learned. On top of raid and Mythic Plus, we also did some gold farming, which we're going to jump into and talk about a little later. I focused less on actually collecting items and more on just kind of reselling my auctions to see how I do, and I made a few changes, so we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. So just quickly, we're going to jump into the game and take a look at our monk's eye level. Not much has changed. The most we've done on the monk is upgrade all of our gear now, so we have nothing left to upgrade. We have additional crests now that we can use as kind of the season progresses. We also have Valor Stones that we can use. If we get any other pieces of gear, I can upgrade. I've also played some Windwalker, so I have some pieces of gear I can upgrade for that. Basically what we're doing now in the monk is trying to get Mythic Track gear so we can get the achievement to get discounts on all of our alts. We're a bit of a ways away from that between having to go from the DK to the monk. I think I missed a few weeks of being able to do that. Maybe I should just keep doing my 10s on the DK just in case we can get that achievement. But anyway, that's where we're at with the monk. So the monk started week 13 at 631.69, and we are starting week 14 at 632.13. So not a massive upgrade, but I think at this point, without getting any Mythic Track pieces, this is as high as we can go. The monk actually has some really good gear and is statted fairly well. So realistically, I'm just going to see what I can get. I'm going to try to play some more Windwalker even. So that's where the monk is when it comes to his gear. And the next thing I want to talk about, which I'm kind of excited about, for those who were able to catch it, I did release a 12 Dawnbreaker video that I timed with a pug group. It wasn't the cleanest key at all, but we did time it. We had one major wipe and then we kind of picked it up. We had a disconnect as well, but we still timed that key, so I threw it up because it was my first 12 Dawnbreaker, so I just threw it up for all to see that, like, hey, this wasn't a repeat or anything. That was the first one. I do also have a 12 Mist that's going to be coming out as well. So those are the two 12s we timed this week. Actually, Tuesday, raid ended early, and I didn't really want to do a key, but I did want to to do a key. So I decided I was going to do a key anyway. I just started signing up for 12. I got into a 12 miss, and this 12 miss actually gave us 26 points. And then the Dawnbreaker also gave us 20 points. So we finished last week at 27.66, and we are going into week 14 at 28.12. So I'm kind of happy to have gone over the 2800 mark. I do want to see if I can push out all of these at a 12. Like I said earlier in the video, it's kind of getting rough to get into those 12 keys. The crazy thing, even as a Brewmaster monk, I am no longer being invited to keys. I am being declined constantly for most 12 keys. So that is the other challenge. I think on stream we spent about 20 minutes playing Q Simulator. So it's kind of baffling that people are complaining about not having healers and tanks, but then they're only inviting the meta, which is a prop paladin, to even 12. So kind of crazy. Maybe I on the side start working my prop paladin, see if I can push him even up to where my monk is. So that's where the monk is when it comes to their IO. All right, so we are jumping into the game and we are opening our vault. We're opening it as Windwalker. I don't think there's really much we need for brew. So let's see what we get. We mainly just have our mythic vault slots, mythic track shoulders, which we already have, but these are crit verse. These might be kind of nice to have as a side to switch around some stats here and there. Mythic track headpiece, which is an upgrade, which we can catalyze. And then we have the fist weapon, which is kind of meh. So I'm thinking we take the headpiece, we catalyze it, and then we upgrade it to 6 of 9 mythic. Let's go take a look. And we have a 12 necrotic weight to start, which is a 12 that we need this week. All right, and with the upgraded head, we're up to 632.94 on the monk. Not bad at all. And we actually have a quick bonus vault. I wanted to play a DPS, so I did some keys on my mage to get the heroic vault from last week. So we should be getting an item we already have, and I actually don't have a substitute for this one-hander, so I can't take it. And then we have a trinket, which is much better than what we have on mage. So we're going to take that. This is just a quick little bonus vault we got. I may play Arcane a little more. It was so much fun in some of the keys we did. And so in week 14, we'll continue to do more of the same on the monk. I will try to do some keys at 12 or higher. I will most likely still do like 10s just so I can fill up my vault and then start pushing the 12s. I do, like I said, I still want to upgrade my pieces to get them all on mythic track at least. And then of course we have Silken Corp prog, which I'm really hoping that we are going to down the boss this week. So tune in Tuesday and Thursday. You can check out the kill live on stream at Cosstreams TV here on YouTube or /Cosmeek on Twitch. And moving right along, let's jump in and talk about the mount that we got this week. As I told you guys last week, I started farming Mechagon, and I think in total I have well over 200 runs of this. When I came back as a Mythic Plus dungeon a couple times, I ran it a whole bunch trying to get the Tazavesh and the Mechagon mount for a while. Well, we went back, we started doing it, and surprisingly, we got really lucky this expansion with this mount. So we did get the Mechagon Peacekeeper. This is the original, and then there's a reskin of it as well. But I do love now that it flies. I think it's a really cool flying mount, the way it flies and how it kind of pushes forward. So I am excited to have this now. It wasn't as long as I thought it would be, so I'm going to jump in and maybe try Tazavesh. Now, Tazavesh is a Shadowlands dungeon, so it may be a little tougher to do on alts, but we'll take a look and see how that feels and see if I can get the glider just as fast as I got the Peacekeeper. Okay, and lastly, let's jump in and talk about the gold farming. Like I said earlier in the video, I haven't actually been doing a lot of like item collecting, because usually I'll go through different dungeons, different zones, collect transmogs, and then throw them up. I didn't do that as much this week. I actually just focused on kind of spreading out my items I have correctly, getting some more crafts, and then reposting some auctions to see if I get a little more action if I'm more actively posting. And surprisingly enough, we kind of did on our main auctioneer. We actually had 105k mailbox. And one thing I did is I've left my auctions now for the week. So as of the reset, I don't actually collect the gold until the next reset. So I waited until just before recording this video on Monday night, and I started opening all of the actual gold in our mailboxes. And yeah, sure enough, one of our mailboxes was 105k. We had a few 50k mailboxes in there. So it was actually looking really good. So we started the week at 1,120,000k gold, and we're actually finishing the week at 1,390k gold, or a total increase of 270k. So that means in a week I made enough to buy a WoW token. So I could buy a WoW token and pay for this month's subscription moving forward. So I wonder if I can do that every month. We'll see, but it was kind of exciting to see which realms are selling well, which realms aren't, which items are selling well. So I'm going to spend a little more time this week collecting items, collecting mats, and I'm going to see if I can have another 250 plus K week next week. All right, everyone, and that is it for the week 13 recap. There wasn't a lot going on. Like I said, I didn't really do a lot. I focused on little things. I tried to push 12 quite a lot. We had a great raid. great progress. So I'm very happy with how things went. And looking at next week, really next week, I'm not going to be doing a lot. I've already kind of mentioned throughout parts of the video, we're going to do more on Mythic Plus, try to get more 12s, at least do our vault keys. We're going to continue gold farming. This week I'm going to try a little more to actually get more transmogs, spread them across my characters and see how I do there. And then of course we have raid as always. And then with the patch, we are going to go explore Siren's Isle. We're going to try to get the ring. We're going to try to get new things. Maybe there's things we can sell on there that I don't even know about. So I am excited for week 14 because there's a lot of good stuff coming in World of Warcraft. So I'm looking forward to see maybe those participation numbers will come up again as people come back to play with the ring, to try keys again, to see how the ring feels, if their damage goes up or down. So that's how week 14 is looking. I hope you guys are excited for the patch just like I am. I hope you're looking forward to the new content, or maybe you're already playing other things. If you are, let me know down in the description below. What are you up to right now? Are you playing other games? Are you excited for what's coming in World of Warcraft? Let me know down below. And as always, thank you guys for hanging out for this long. And as always, if you guys have made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out. Hit that like button, help these videos reach more people who may like them. And as always, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. And until next time, I'll see you guys in Kazalgar or the Mythic Plus Arena. Peace out and Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever you do. Bye!